Let's walk through how to model a foundation for your affordable home design in Autodesk Revit. We're going to go ahead and follow Habitat for Humanity guidelines and go with a 4-foot crawl space. And we're going to go ahead and start by going to an elevation view. I'm going to choose the east elevation. And while I'm on the architecture tab, I'm going to go ahead and move to the data panel and select level. We just want to make sure that the little checkbox here for create plan view is checked. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the line tool. And I'm going to go ahead and line up on the left side. I should see a tracking line. I'm going to click when I see that. And then I'm going to go over to the right. And I'm going to see another tracking line. When this snaps into place, I'm going to click. And we're going to do a level 3. And I'm going to repeat this process 2 more times. Leave a little bit of room just so that way we can make some adjustments. And we're going to go ahead and set up these levels. So once I have 3 of these, total of 5, you can see by my screen, I'm going to go ahead and select cancel a couple times to stop placing levels. And I'm going to go ahead and rename level 3 by double clicking on it. This is going to be named the top of TO foundation wall, the top of the foundation wall. We do want to rename the corresponding views. And then we also want to go ahead and change the level. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on it. And this is going to be just negative 1 foot and 1/4 inch. And when I hit enter, you're going to notice the level's going to adjust and it's going to cover up level 1. So there's a little kind of Z shape here, which is called add elbow. If I select it, it kind of gives me some grips here that I can now break my level indicator down just a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead, drag this little blue dot over, and I'm going to go ahead and drag this one over until it makes it a vertical line. And then I can grab this dot and drag this down. So then that way that this is showing up, not covering up level 1, but it's kind of close. So I'm going to go ahead and again, just make sure this line looks good. So I just drug that over. So that way it's a nice vertical line. I'm going to go ahead and move down to my next level. This one's going to be the top of the footing, abbreviated as TO, and then footing. Renaming the corresponding views. This is going to have a negative 5 foot and 1/4 inch. Same thing. Let's go ahead and adjust and add the elbow in for our particular case. So usually I like to drag it where it's just in front of the first letter. And here you can kind of see that these are getting kind of close, but that's okay. We can kind of keep track of those levels and kind of adjust those. Main thing is that we are able to read those clearly. The last one here is going to be BO footing, bottom of footing. Go ahead and rename those. And our level is going to be a negative 5 foot, and this is going to be 8 1/4 inches. So when this gets adjusted here, I'm going to go ahead and pull this down. Again, just right in front of the B for the title, and drag this down. Now you may see that these are kind of crossing over. I am going to just move this over a small amount just to kind of keep this so that way they don't cross each other. Okay. These are our levels set up for where our foundation. So like here, we'll have a sill plate that comes down to this first line. We'll have a foundation wall that will be between these 2 lines, and then we'll have a footing that will be between the bottom 2 there. I'm going to go ahead and move to my top of foundation wall floor plan. I'm going to double click on it. There's going to be a lot of stuff here on our floor plan that I don't need in order to start modeling a sill plate. So it usually goes between your foundation wall and between the finished floor. So as far as the floor framing that you have for your first floor, I'm going to go ahead and go over to Properties palette. I'm going to scroll down until I find the view range, and I'm going to select Edit. In this case, the cut plane is set to 4 feet. We're going to go ahead and change this to 2 inches and go ahead and click Apply. Now in this, I'm going to go ahead and select OK. You may have some other different pieces like mine that you see quite a bit. And actually what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select everything that's in this view. And I'm going to go up here to the filter icon. And I want to keep everything but the floor. So I'm going to say check, as far as this goes, I'm going to uncheck the floor. And then as far as the selected items, I want to go ahead and say OK. So the floor is going to be deselected, and I'm going to right click and I want to say to hide in view elements. Okay. That's going to get rid of everything else. And I want just the floor here to be represented. So when I do this, I'm going to go ahead and go to the wall command. And I'm going to grab my interior wall type that I've created earlier. And I'm going to go ahead and edit the type. I'm going to reuse this. I'm going to duplicate it. And I want to call this sill plate. And then go ahead and select OK. I'm going to select edit. And then I'm going to get rid of these 2 gypsum wallboard layers. So this is layer 1 and layer 5. And I'm just going to hit delete. This one becomes layer 4. So I'm going to delete that. And then I'm just going to change this softwood lumber thickness to a 5.5 inch thickness, which would be a 2x6, which is what we're going to use for our mud sill. So I'm going to go ahead and select OK. Select OK again. And then now you'll see the sill plates there. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to start up here in the corner. I'm going to click and I'm going to start drawing. And you're going to see there's our sill plate. If yours is on the outside of the floor like this, you want to go ahead and flip it so that way it's on the inside. And I'm just going to go around tracing the outside edge of our floor here until we get that. Okay, one thing to kind of note when you're drawing with a wall, if yours does not show up like this, check your location line. We want it to be finished face exterior, and then go ahead and try that out. And again, making sure the chain option is checked as well, why it kind of keeps that moving around. But I really just want to have that sill plate being represented. I'm going to go ahead and go to my 3D view. And if I rotate underneath here for the house, you're going to see here is my sill plate that is being modeled in, my 2x6, to be able to help connect the floor to the foundation wall. The only other thing we have left in this particular video that we're going to finish out with is I'm going to select one of the exterior walls. I'm going to right click and say select all instances that are visible in the view. This is going to select every exterior wall that we have in this particular project. So I'm going to go over here to the properties palette and it says varies. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to need to keep my cursor in the properties palette. So I'm going to clear that out, backspace, and I'm going to put a -1 foot and then 1/4 inch, which is going to match that level. So then that way that the bottom of our exterior walls, when I click off of that, is going to cover up that sill plate, which is our typical kind of construction process. Still there underneath the house, but we see that we've just kind of covered it up with the trim and the plywood sublayer. So this keeps kind of some of the aesthetic of our house looking really nice. All right, so this finishes up just being able to add in levels and a sill plate. Please watch the next video, which is going to show us how to put in the foundation walls and the footings for the foundation of our affordable home project.